guys! Welcome to Historical Gossip. In this channel, we do what humans have done best since we've evolved to be a super aware being. Gossiping! Today, we delve into the intriguing and sometimes perplexing customs of the Victorian era. Our journey begins with a deep dive into the hygiene habits of the Victorians. Keep in mind that during these times, many modern conveniences we take for granted, like hairdryers or readily available hot water, were distant dreams. Not everyone had direct access to water in their homes. This luxury was reserved for the wealthiest. Only grand estates and high society mansions had personal wells. Others had to travel to the shared village well, which wasn't always nearby. For the less privileged, bathing often meant immersing themselves in streams and rivers. Imagine the chilling experience during icy winters, especially when the risk of fever among the well-to-do deterred them from taking such frigid dip. Now, let's discuss hand hygiene. Unlike today, where we can easily wash our hands after various activities such as touching objects outdoors or at home, Victorian-era hand washing was far from commonplace. If you were among the less affluent, washing your hands was an option. At the dining table, even among the upper classes, a bowl of water and lemon were the closest approximation to hand sanitation. However, it wasn't quite the effective disinfectant we use today. When it comes to bathing, doctors often discouraged frequent full-body immersion. They believed it made individuals more susceptible to infections. Instead, they recommended using sponges and cold water. In the upper class, weekly baths for both men and women were often the norm, with additional baths typically sought after activities like horseback riding or dancing. Weekly baths were typically scheduled after dinner, with servants responsible for heating and pouring water into a large tub for their master's relaxation. Once the owners were done, the servants, braving the almost cold water, could then use it for themselves. However, wasting water or reheating it was strictly forbidden. For those less fortunate, washing in the river, including their hair, was the primary option, typically done only during the summer to take advantage of the sun for drying themselves. As we transition to haircare, it's worth noting that elaborate wigs of the 1700s were often infested with lice and fleas. While the Victorians were cleaner by comparison, they still faced their own challenges. Picture a world with no hairdryers, central heating, or waterproof homes. Washing hair during winter was infrequent due to the risk of falling seriously ill. The time-consuming process involved wet hair being dried by the fireplace, a luxury only occasionally afforded by the rich. Poorer individuals likely risked bronchopneumonia from enduring cold and wet hair. Men had the option of visiting a barber, but women relied on trusted attendants who washed their hair in tubs or special basins. Various substances, including ammonia, warm water, and even onion juice were used. Fragrances like lily of the valley, honeysuckle, and rose were added to water for perfuming the hair. Flaxseed oil was also employed to give luster to flowing locks. Now, let's delve into dental care. Unfortunately, many people suffered from rotten teeth, with some resorting to dentures or gold teeth by the age of 30. Bad breath was not uncommon. Surprisingly, the poor often had an advantage. Their simpler diets, primarily consisting of vegetables, were less detrimental to their dental health. Licorice root, commonly chewed by peasants, offered valuable support for oral hygiene. Toothbrushes were not widely used, and toothpaste, when it did appear, was often more harmful than helpful, damaging enamel. Early toothpaste mixtures included lemon and baking soda. Moving on to personal care, it's essential to understand that in those times, touching one's private parts was considered akin to masturbation, a dirty and forbidden act for both men and women. Consequently, intimate hygiene was almost non-existent. During baths, individuals swiftly passed a sponge over those areas without lingering. Religious fanaticism further contributed to these taboos. Nighttime bathroom needs were addressed using chamber pots used by both genders for both urine and feces. These pots were typically equipped with lids. For those not at home, portable options like the bordaloo were available. These portable vessels, originally designed for ladies, had a spout for convenient emptying. The term bordaloo is derived from its inventor, Louis Bordelouet, a French Jesuit known for his lengthy sermons. His speeches posed a challenge for Victorian women in their elaborate dresses. So, to avoid leaving during the sermon, ladies discreetly used bordaloos. These oval-shaped portable pots had a spout for emptying and a handle for holding. They were used while sitting or crouching. These bordaloos became commonplace for all Victorian women, used discreetly at dances, dinner tables, in churches and carriages. After use, maids discreetly removed them for proper disposal. Now, let's delve into some distinctive habits while on the move. Victorian women, while enjoying leisurely walks with companions, would quietly halt and address their nature's call discreetly whenever the urge arose, regardless of the nature of the necessity. Subsequently, they would resume their walk composedly, with their long dresses concealing any traces. It's worth noting that Victorian women's undergarments did not include a crotch. Instead, they featured two-legged fabric sections fastened together with a ribbon. That wraps up our exploration of some rather unusual Victorian custom. Thanks for watching. And you guys, do any of you have any strange personal hygiene habits?